All right. Everybody here? Good? All right. I don't have much to get started with. I'll pretty much open it up to questions. As far as the injuries go, there's no changes or updates. We'll have that report for you, obviously, when we get out there on Wednesday. But, I think we're going to meet here with the guys in a little bit. We'll have our meeting, get them back in town, and review the tape quickly from Detroit, and then be able to jump on to Arizona. So I'll go ahead and open it to questions.
Kevin Jenkins, what have you seen from him in a couple of weeks? And what is the challenge at the end of this week, right? Determining how ready he is to do anything for you this year.
Yeah, so I'll start with when we, brought him into that window and got him going. It was important to be able to see kind of where he's at physically. I think he's done a great job. I love his mentality right now, working with the guys and just kind of putting the pads on and getting back into it. And then, for us to be able to kind of evaluate where he's at and go. I think we have until like a week from today till next Monday, how that goes. So we'll kind of see how things go for us this week and stuff. But he's done great, and I think that's probably as you go through this process for him was just being able to see like physically where he's at, and then mentally too, like going through everything.
And I'm sure there's a natural curiosity to see what he can do for you, but also is there some issue of you have two tackles that you're fairly pleased with right now?
I mean, what it's done is it's provided depth for us with him, and even when we were able to get Larry back and with where we're at, I think it puts us in a good place here as we were a little bit there. We went through a little stretch there in the part of the year where our linemen were we were depleted, but getting those guys back is key. So we'll just kind of work at it from that angle.
I know last week was a wash in terms of practice, but has Tevin Jenkins had a full contact, what you would consider full practice yet, or is he still ramping up?
No, he's done a pretty good job. I mean, for the times that he's had whether it was a Wednesday practice of a normal week, where they're able, or individually, or they get some one-on-ones here or there, but he's had some, I mean, probably as much as you can get, all things considered.
What is your evaluation of Larry Borum been so far in the time he's been out there?
Yeah, I think that, Adam, I think he's done a good job of, first of all, his first 2 weeks going up against two pretty good guys with Bosa and Watt. But his focus, his just staying nice and calm. He never gets too high, never gets too low. Pass game, he's done a really good job. I think run game continuing to work on his pad level, understanding that. But that'll continue to come. I really like his demeanor. I think he's got a bright football mind, and he has a want, which is crucial.
Matt, I don't want to beat it up, but the expression you used last week with Justin was cracked. There is a big difference between broken and bruised ribs. So do you know specifically which one it is?
As far as the broken or bruised, yeah, they were broken. Yep, just to clarify that.
What were you able to do with a few days off? I know you had the bye week not that long ago, but what work did you get done, and did you relax at all?
No, I did. Yeah, I appreciate that. I was able to spend some time with family, and that's always good. You need to have that. We all do. Everybody needs to have that. But at the same time, they joke because your mind never shuts down, no matter what you say or what you think. I think you get your players and your coaches out. You want to be able to still watch tape, stay on it. You just got to balance it. So as long as you balance that and you do it at the right times, maybe early in the morning or late at night when they're all sleeping, that's when you can steal some time and not get yelled at for it.
I mean, what can you learn from the way Cliff Kingsbury has kind of invigorated that offense, especially now that you have a quarterback who's kind of at least similar in style to the guy who's made them go? What can you learn from that as you try and kind of do the same thing with the team?
Sure. No, I think Coach Kingsbury's done a really good job at being able to develop Kyler, and you see that for him. And you go back to when they first started together, just some of the highs and lows that you go through, and now they put together a really good season. Started off with a nice win, and then had the one against Minnesota, and before you know it, they're 6-0 on the road right now. They had the tough loss there at the end to the Packers, but I think for them, just seeing the growth that they've had together and just kind of working. I don't know the specifics. I'd have to get into the whys with them, but I think from the outsider's perspective, he's done a great job.
You're going to have back to your to relaxation time after the crazy week last week, and you made it clear that you know how to comport yourself when things are tough, and that you never would have taken this job if you know. So did you have to deal with tons of questions from friends and family and things like that, just with everything that went on here last week?
Not a ton of questions, because they know, friends and family, they're all, they know of a lot of the stuff of, they're there more for support, as you go through that, to let you know, hey, we got you, one of those deals. And again, like I said after the game, those are the ones and the people, and it's not just immediate friends and family, it's other people from this league that reach out to let you know that they support you. And so all that combined is, we all know we go through these challenging times, but those are the people in the end that you rely on, and those are the ones that you count on, and those are the ones that help you get through the lows to be able to get to those highs.
Going back to Tevin Jenkins real quick, is there a plan to get him into the starting lineup at some point this season, or do you have a plan at all with him, kind of like you did with Justin?
Probably the biggest thing is with Tevin's situation is now that you're into the season and where we're at, we just keep an eye on how our offensive line is doing and how they're going. Jason Peters, I think, has done a really good job in so many different ways. At right tackle with Borum coming in and doing what he's done, he's helped us out with injuries that we had to Fetty, and so I think for us, we always just kind of we be prepared for if this guy gets injured, or if we feel like this guy's not playing well, kind of play it out those two ways. But right now we feel good with where we're at. So if anything, it provides major depth for us, and then we just play out the scenarios.
Matt, with Justin in his ribs, is there any concern that what makes Justin special is his ability, is in part his ability to run, his ability to be aggressive when he runs? Do you guys have to weigh that when you consider, okay, he may say he's ready to go, but, this ribs injury might affect him in a way that it wouldn't more of a drop back passer?
Well, once we get the okay from these trainers and doctors and players in any role that they're good to go, then you always know that, and you're like, okay, whatever, we're rolling now, right? One of those deals. But at the same point in time, to your question, you got to be cognizant of not taking the extra hits or vulnerability. So that's something that we want to do with a healthy body is the same thing. So it's definitely something that we want to look into, but even whether it's the throwing part of it too, not always just the running part, just making sure when you drop back there and you go to throw, sometimes you expose your chest or your ribs. So all that said, I think we put all that together and we do what's best for him and for us.
Could that create any sort of bad habit or anything? I mean, if he goes out there and if he's in pain, just from a mechanic standpoint, if he's out there too early.
No, I think he won't be out there too early. Like if we get all that and we feel good about where we're at, then that's great. Like I said, when he's healthy, he's the starter. Again, I think every person, not just quarterback, but every person probably handles an injury or coming back from an injury differently. Some are able to do it and get through it. Others may think about it more. So I think with Justin, he's super tough, and I think I know which one he's on, which side he's on.
Has he gotten the all clear yet from the trainers or nothing?
Again, we're working through all that.
Getting healthy, staying healthy is always critical, but especially this time of year, and especially with an extra game, you got 6 games left. Is this business as usual as far as your approach? Or are you doing anything differently to kind of avoid, like, some of these things seem like wear and tear, or to avoid wear and tear situations, or just be more cautious about injuries like Fields or Roquan or whatever? Is the approach any different given your current situation and what you got ahead of you?
Yeah, the approach is not different. Where it's, how do I say this? Every year, based off of how your team is and the team's health is, that's where, like, in practice, you might pull back a little bit more and you might not have as many full speed reps. But those full speed reps are important. So there's that balance. So nothing has changed because of that extra game as far as how we're looking at anything. But, we do, like, being able to come off of a bye, have a game, and then have a mini bye here with Thursday, that's good for our guys to get somewhat healthy, And so now as we head into this last stretch of games, we got to make sure that, and I got to make sure with the practices and the scripts in practice that the amount of plays, because typically we start off with X amount of plays, and by the time you get to the last regular season game, you've chopped off sometimes up to up to 12 to 14 plays of practice that it can drop. So we just balance that.
Sorry to harp on injuries, but I'm curious about Tariq Cohn because it's not, there's a wide variance for torn ACLs. I mean, not everybody is Adrian Peterson, but it seems like it's getting to the point now, it's been 14 months where it's beyond what you would expect. He doesn't sound like he's any, or seem like he's any closer to coming back than at the beginning of the season. Where is he and what can you say, frankly, has something gone wrong? Has there been a complication that's made his recovery, so much longer than the average one?
I don't think so. No, I think for him, like the way I look at it, Mark, is this is a guy that comes in like literally every single day and rehabs over and over and over. So as we kind of see where he's at, is it something where it's you get to a point where it's longer than maybe you expected initially? Yeah, but he knows that. We all understand that, and the only thing that he can do is attack it every day and just kind of see, okay, where's it at? And then for us, as we communicate with him and our trainers and doctors, we know what he was years ago and even last year, fully healthy, and now the goal is, okay, let's get him back, but let's do it at the right time. And whenever that time is, he's going to tell us, the trainers are going to tell us. And so I think to answer your question, big picture is, would we have loved to have him back sooner? Yeah, but that's not the case right now, and that's okay. He's working his tail off to get better.
How optimistic are you that he'll play this year?
Again, beginning of the season, we were talking about injuries, and I just don't like to put, if I say, yeah, I'm optimistic, and then he doesn't, then it looks bad. Or if I say, no, so all I care about is seeing him in there every day rehabbing and being a part of those team meetings, and that's what he's done, and that's what I love about him.
Kind of going off that, I know it's next man up, and all teams deal with them, but your best players, a lot of your best players get hurt this year. How would you characterize the continued impact of that?
Sure. I start off by saying that we're not the only team that's happened to. You look at the team we're about to play here, right? They've had some tough ones too, losing Watt for the whole year and having some of their wideouts. But I think that's where depth comes into play for our guys to be able to come in and make up for that. At the same point in time, we do have some guys that we've missed or are gonna miss, and that's where you just look at it like, yeah, it's unfortunate. There's nothing you can do. All these guys practice hard, play hard. Some of it's just bad luck.
Matt, with a young player like Kendall Vildor, who struggled a little bit lately, and at that position needing confidence so bad, how do you rebuild that? How do you work on that? How do you keep him from getting too far away?
Probably, Hub, the biggest thing is for us as coaches is to let him know the amount of support and belief that we have in him, and that he's worked hard to get to this point. And we all have, ups and downs in our career. And, there's some things that, there's some things that go against him on a particular play that might look like it's his fault, or he might have a struggle with that's not. But there's others that there might be more of it that he can get better at. But in the end, as long as he knows that we're going to coach him as best as we can, that we support him and believe in him, that's the only thing that matters. And then when he gets back out there and does his thing, good things will, because he works hard, he practices hard, he's a good kid, he's young, so you learn through these and you understand. And sometimes when you're on the sideline, you're able to see some things that maybe you weren't able to see before. So he'll improve from this.
What you see, though, as coaches, there does seem to be a kind of a break point with him where he was playing pretty well
Yeah.
the season. Is it technique, or are there things specifically that you've noticed in him, or a tough position?
No, when you're a corner, you're on an island a lot. You have to have a short memory. You have to, and so if there's one or two plays where a team goes after you, and they're successful, they're going to continue to go after you until you stop it. And there's been times in the games where we've had that over the years where somebody, we do it too if we see a corner that we want to go after. But to Kendall's defense, he hasn't had that. He just, we just felt like right now, he had the bad pass interference there at the end of the game 2 weeks ago against Baltimore, and he would tell you, that he could have done better there. But a lot of other things, again, it's life in the NFL as a DB. So it's us supporting him. And then when he gets his opportunity, we believe that he'll make the most of it.
When you wake up this morning and you're only a game,
Yeah,
playoffs, does that register with you?
it does. When you look at really the NFL in general, the parity of this league, it's so crazy when you look at these games and how they go. Again, I was able to do it yesterday and just kind of, you get to see what games are like on a Sunday and the way that how the games start out and how they finish. And then you look at the records and you see that, I don't know the number, but it seems like half the teams in the league have, 5, 6, or 7 losses. And so I think that shows the parity in this league. At the same point in time, the biggest thing for us was to make sure that we snapped that losing streak. And when you snap that losing streak now, you come back in, you reset, and now you got to start back to 1-0. Now you get to start with one of the best teams in the NFL coming off a bye week. That's a heck of a challenge. But when you break that losing streak, the mentality, it just helps you. That's just natural. You feel better about it. So no matter how it comes, and so to see that you're one game out with all those teams that are in that mix for that last spot, I don't care who you are. If you're a competitor, you care about that.
Do you show that to your players or talk about it at all?
I have not. I think for us, none of that really matters. And again, this isn't coach talk, but literally we need to let's win this game and then let's get on a 2-game winning streak. You know what I mean? Let's have a little streak here. And if you go out and you play a great game and you beat a great team like the Cardinals, what that can do for your confidence, and your belief. And then all that other stuff handles itself because there are a lot of teams in that mix and there's a lot of things that we can't control. What we can control is winning on Sunday.
Does it make you look at the end of the Ravens game and the end of the Steelers game and be like,
Yeah.
and wonder how things would be different if those.
Yeah, that's again for every team in the league. All these teams you look at it and you say, man, if well, the ifs don't matter. We didn't win those. We lost them, and so no matter how we lose them, no matter how we win, our record right now is 4-7, and the goal is to be 5-7.
Thank you.
All right, take care.